Opposed? Please say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Dan Van Buren.
Yeah.
Ben Hunt.
Here.
Jeff Corpenny.
Here.
I don't know if we have yes.
We do. There's people that out there want to go first.
Yeah.
Guest speakers, I'm not sure their name.
Yeah, you go ahead and,
We have a couple guest speakers here that want to discuss.
Thanks. We have an emergency protocol for a lioness that is located on Brownsville Road, and we need to have paperwork signed.
Okay. Kind of explain to the board, I mean, kind of what's going on with it.
Basically, this in here tells everything that we would do to ensure the safety of her not escaping. In an emergency, we will double enclosure her and lock her down in case of fire, tornado, flood. She is to stay locked down until the all clear has been given.
Very good.
So she does have, $200,000 liability insurance policy on her. I'm registered with the state of Ohio. I'm working on getting my permit, but this is one of the requirements for my permit is to have the township get a copy of this and sign it. And I brought two because I didn't know who all was going to be here,
Okay.
but
It's just going to be for one animal, correct?
yes.
But
just
you don't
for
have
one.
it yet? You do, or do you have possession of it now? Okay.
Yes. We've had possession since she was about 2 days old.
Okay.
So,
We're out on Brownsville Road.
right beside Waste Management.
Okay.
We bought the 19 acres that's out there.
Okay.
And then one copy will stay in here, and then the other copy will go to the Ohio Department of Agriculture.
Where you guys putting the driveway in?
Yes,
Gotcha.
where the driveway's putting in.
Cool.
You read that into the record, please, Dan?
Let me read it. I, blank of blank, have received a copy of the emergency protocols for the lioness located at 12103 Brownsville Road, Glenford, Ohio. I understand that a copy of this letter will be given to the Ohio Department of Agriculture and will be kept on file for the dangerous wild animal permit that Tessa Compton has applied for.
I see that.
I'm not familiar with where this would fall under our duties as trustees in the ORC. I don't recall ever reading anything about our approval being needed for something like this.
I don't think it does, but I wanted for all of you to be aware that she is there. I have already contacted the sheriff's department and the fire department because it's a requirement. I'm just doing something extra so you know that she's there.
And this will be kept with us?
Yes.
Cool.
See that?
Do you want two of us sign it?
Whoever wants to sign it, one copy can stay in the folder, and then I'll
Want to sign
turn the
same
other one
copy?
into the Department of Agriculture.
Or keep a copy in the folder? Or was there already one in the folder?
He signed it, that's fine. You don't need one signature. Just so he knows it's on copy. Just put his name and township on top.
Here, I'll fill it out.
We'll just put this in here. Cool.
Jenny, I'd like to have a copy of that for my own records, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Just curious, do you guys plan on having anything else in the future? Or?
No.
Horses,
I'm
Horses.
just curious.
cows,
Nothing that has to be registered with the state.
Cool.
about camel.
Camera? Yeah, I don't know. Cool, thanks guys.
Thank you.
If you guys want to stay, you're more than welcome to. I don't think there's any other guest speakers. That was it.
okay, correspondence.
I have the We'll do that later, right? You wanna do that later?
Yeah.
I didn't get very much. I did receive, I think everybody did. Did y'all get the schedule for the bridges that are gonna be repaired in the county? Our two bridges, Cherry Hill will be done, it says, by August 27th. And Laurel Hill says it'll be done by September 24th. I'm not sure where the Laurel,
Somerset Road.
Somerset.
it says Laurel Hill. Somerset's supposed to be done March 23rd.
They set beams, started setting beams across.
Yeah, they're not even close to done.
Oh, completion date, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong date. April 22nd, so it still should be done. I think that was emailed to all of us. And then I got the notice from the Licking County Board of Elections about election. They need to have access to the building Sunday, May 4th at 12:30 p.m. for delivery. So I don't know who wants to,
Just make sure Don gets.
yeah, I'll tell Don to make sure he got his calendar.
Say 12:30?
Yes, May 4th at 12:30. We'll have Don take care of that.
We're good.
That's all I have.
Couple things I had, a couple thank yous to some people. Want to thank Jan and Sally Bryan. They purchased a new microwave for the community building, so that's definitely appreciated. Want to thank them for that. And then also, I think the Friends of Bowling Green Township will talk about this, but I wanted to thank everybody that took part of the Easter egg hunt, all the donations that we received, the coffee, the cookies, people coming in and help. Also thank Kroger's for donating $20, so I just wanted to extend that out there. That's all I have in the correspondence.
I attended the engineer safety workshop. I picked up some extra copies here of the township road crashes by severity. That was like a half-day workshop. LTAP newsletter, Licking County Planning Commission, we met yesterday. Wasn't anything on the agenda for our township. National Road Yard Sale, attended that meeting, got a few extra flyers here. The dates are Friday, May 30th. Well, super weekend sales are May 30th through May 31st, but the actual sale starts in some places May 28th, which is a Wednesday, and goes to Sunday, June 1st. Attended the Licking County Advisory Committee meeting yesterday, and tentatively in July, the extension is celebrating their centennial year. So in July, there's going to be some kind of a garden-related event at their facility. And just in case you guys didn't have copies, since hopefully you got on the agenda to talk about the building rules and application. I don't see it on there. I asked it to be on there. But anyway, made sure that I brought copies for everybody, in case you hadn't reviewed that yet. And that's it. Oh, we did also get correspondence from Amy. I see that you printed us out a copy of that in regards to the CMI versus Bowling Green Township case.
Okay, that's all correspondence. Safety, I think everything's all taken care of on that. Our company zoning, does Barb have anything?
She gave me a report. She didn't have any permits this month. Wait a minute.
Is there a copy of that in here?
No, there is no copy of that, but there is, first she says there's no permits, and then she listed a permit, so. There was a permit given at 15861 Main Street, Brownsville, for a new building. They're removing a trailer, replacing it with a modular with a basement. And she says she's working on complaints that were called in, as well as completing the new add-on timeline from the prosecutor's office. Also, a change in the zoning inspector's OPERS will no longer allow me to report quarterly for anybody. So now the zoning inspector will be turning her time in monthly and being paid monthly instead of quarterly, which is not going to affect how much she makes, just when she's getting paid. So that's all.
What's the reason that you had to change it?
Ohio Public Employees Retirement System no longer accepts quarterly reports.
Did they just send a notice on it or something?
Yes, they did.
Is that it? On the building?
That's all, that was all that was on the report.
Zoning appeals, they haven't done nothing for a while, I think. Okay.
No, we had
We need to talk about that
Yeah.
thing at some point.
the people that are.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can go talk about that.
Yeah.
So for the zoning appeals board, there are 2 people that are expired.
Right.
Mike Zinsmeister expired on February 22nd, 2014. Jeff Barrett expired February 26, 2013.
Wasn't able to get a hold of either one of them.
I tried. I couldn't hold them.
There haven't been any updates at all since 2012?
No, I looked back through the minutes and double checked, and there has been no other changes.
Do we have anybody that's interested in being on the zoning appeals board?
Ed,
Ed?
and Thomas Clayton is also interested.
Got another one right here.
Oh, sorry. I was looking, I didn't see.
You guys are interested in the appeals board, both of us?
Yeah.
Since we have 2 positions open, I'll make a motion that we appoint. Do we have to move an alternate up or anything? Or we just appoint those 2 positions?
I don't know that you have to.
Did you talk to,
Hedges and Livingston are alternates. I left that off the new.
Okay. Is Jack here?
Iris is here.
Jack,
Jack's right here.
do you want to remain as an alternate or do you want to sit on the board?
Well, remain alternate.
Alternate, okay. So then we have 2 board positions open, correct?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion.
wait a second, have you talked to Livingston, Zinsmeister, or Baird, or any of them?
I tried contacting Zinsmeister and Baird with no response. I was unable to get through to them. So I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Ed Monroe and Thomas Clayton to the 2 vacant seats for the zoning appeals board.
No, second it.
Ed Monroe and Thomas Clayton.
Correct.
We can have discussion now on that then. I think before we take action on this, that we should, the next thing you're probably going to do is go under zoning commission. And if I've got this right, there's actually 3 on that that have expired. So there's 3 positions there.
And there
then
are
we've
2
got-
of them that would like to be renewed on that.
Okay. Well, my point here is that there's multiple positions in both. And I know in the past, when we had multiple positions, we did advertise it. And I think it's important that some kind of actual contact be made with Zinsmeister and Baird to make sure that they don't want renewed, because in the past, we've always renewed everybody that wanted to continue.
My motion stands.
Roll call. Van Buren.
Yeah.
Hub.
Yes.
Corpenny.
No.
So on zoning commission, we have Gary Stepp, Tom Robb, and Shannon Duvall have expired. Tom Robb called me and also called Danny Van Buren and said he would like to remain on the board. And Shannon Duvall would also like to remain on the board. So we have Gary Stepp's position to do something.
Is he here tonight?
Do we have anybody in here that would be interested in being on the zoning commission board? Anybody else interested? No. Well, I'll make a motion that we reinstate Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb, and also add Ron Duvall to the zoning commission board. Did you want to move up from an alternate to a member?
No, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
I am an alternate now.
Yes. Do you want to be a member
Yeah,
instead?
why don't you take me a
Okay.
member?
Well, I'm going to retract that motion then. You want to be a member? Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, are you starting over?
Yes. Let's see. Who's expired first?
You're doing this all in one motion?
Just, no, we'll do a couple of them here.
Gary Stepp and then Tom Robb and then Shannon in that order.
Okay.
I'm all,
What's that?
You make what, Ron be an alder?
he said he'd be an alternate.
Okay.
Okay, and then Dee's moving up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion that we move Dee Cryer to an actual position. Keep Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb in positions. And put Ron Duvall as an alternate.
And I'll second it.
Under discussion, is there a reason why you're putting this all together as one motion?
To get
Because
it
I don't
done.
have any problem at all with the alternates moving into the other positions. It's been the way we've always done it. We've made it available to them first. But I do have an issue with Mr. Stepp because at the last meeting, he indicated to the board that he had an interest in continuing. So you're treating him different than everybody else that you're discussing tonight.
We have the right to appoint who we want to and who we feel necessary. My motion stands.
Roll call.
Could you please read the entire motion before we vote?
Ben made a motion to move Dee Cryer to a permanent position, to keep Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb as at a permanent position, and to name Ron Duvall as an alternate position. Seconded by Dan Van Buren. Roll call vote.
Wait a
Dan-
second. Where's the part about removing Gary Stepp? It's not in your motion?
Isn't it obvious?
We'll put in there that Ron's going to replace Gary.
Well, really, Dee is replacing Gary.
Now his expired anyway, so we're filling his position. So
That's irrelevant because we went through this before when we were concerned about the viabilities of the board, and we were told that even if it was expired, they were still on the board until they were removed or they left. That was the stance on that through the legal
I guess he's
counsel.
been removed.
If you don't mind, can you read it the way it's going to be in the record?
Ben made a motion to remove Gary Stepp and replace with Dee Cryer, and keep Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb in their current position, and Ron Duvall as an alternate position.
very good.
Seconded by Dan. Roll call vote. Van Buren,
Yeah.
Hupp,
Yes.
Horpenny,
No.
Very good. Thank you for volunteering to be on those boards. I appreciate it.
That takes care of that.
Are you going to be updating this?
Yes, sir.
Can you post it in here somewhere?
Sure.
Okay, we're on unfinished business.
Comprehensive plan, I don't think there's anything.
Then the only thing I had, we did have 2 members who quit, and I know it was just kind of whoever wanted to be on that. And I do, want to again ask if anybody wanted to be on that.
Okay. I mean, is anybody interested in being on the comprehensive plan committee? We're gonna ask. I mean, how many members do you have on there now? How many people are involved now?
I think, is that 5? 5 or 5?
5. If anybody's interested. It's not an appointed position, right? not an actual appointed position, correct? So if anybody's interested, they could just talk to
They
you.
can just,
All right, we'll see if we can find some interest. Hopefully.
Oh, and I should say that we are collecting the statistics from the fire departments.
Okay. When's your guys' next meeting? Do you know?
We-
Haven't set one. Okay, that's fine.
As soon as I get that information from Glenford, we'll have a meeting.
Okay.
Okay. New business. No, unfinished business. The trash.
I think that was the hearing that we had. That would
Yeah.
looked at. We got paperwork. There was a hearing that was held. It was Bowling Green Township versus CMI. Since CMI continued to pick up trash in the township, we ended up taking it to court. There was a judgment that was entered in our favor, but there was no damages that were awarded on the day of the hearing. So Amy had to turn in some paperwork to the courts. They reviewed it, and then they awarded damages to us, which we just received this today, in the judgment of $63,650 against CMI to be awarded to Bowling Green Township for violating the single hauler contract. There's some paperwork here if anybody wants to read it.
How much was that?
$63,650. The total violations were well over 350,000.
Yeah.
And it also says that there was a judgment granting an injunction against CMI to prevent it from picking up trash in Bowling Green Township in violation of the single trash hauler contract that we have with Big O. So they need to stop. If anybody sees them, can witness, can take any pictures of them still doing it, please definitely get them to me, and then I'll do a follow-up with Amy. Does anybody have any questions about it? Anything? Nothing?
When will the township open?
We won't. Go ahead.
Supposed to-
Can't put a lien on that property for money
It's
or equipment or?
kind of read this in.
Does it have a
Got an option.
confidentiality thing involved?
That's on the next page.
You could just tell them to just.
It says that they have 30 days to pay for the violations. If they do not pay within 30 days, we can file liens against their property if we wish to do so. That's an option. And then also, if CMI is still picking up in the area, like I said, if we can witness it and have a credible witness where somebody wants to testify in court, they can file a contempt action to enforce the injunction. So like I said, if anybody witnesses, sees pictures, can take pictures of time, date stamped, definitely, I mean, I feel it's only fair to who we entered into a contract with, so. Anybody has any questions, definitely let me know. No question?
That's all we got on
I have some other nonsense business. Jim Lusk in Linville was having problems there with the neighbor in that alley right away and all that. He came in a couple months ago and talked to us about that. He had asked me if there was any way that the township could have that surveyed. So I took it to the engineer's office, and they said that the township could request assistance from the engineer's office to not to have his property surveyed, but to have that actual alley or right of way the township would own in there surveyed. So we have to file some paperwork if we want to request assistance from them to come in and do that. Jim asked if we could do that so they can mark the pin so he knows where it's at. It hasn't been maintained,
Well, is there pins there?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know, and I don't know, and and I talked to the engineer about it, and they said that if we filled this out and had 2 signatures, they'd be willing to come out and survey it to mark where those are. I think they're gonna mark 4 pins, it'll be 2 in the back and 2 in the front, so.
If they mark these pins, that's not taking an action for us to acquire the
Well, here's what I think.
road, is it?
You know, this is my opinion. It's kind of a dispute that there was never an alley there, and then there was a dispute that there is an alley there. So if they come out and survey this and find the pins to show that there was an alley there, then there is an alley there. If there's no pins, then there's not an alley.
Well, shouldn't we have a township record if it actually was township
But there is
road
nothing.
at some point?
I know Barb has looked into that. There's nothing. I think he said that he's been there 30 plus years, and there's nothing. Nothing's ever been done in there.
So what's the purpose of the township owning this?
It's an actual alley that the neighbors are trying to use or are requesting to use to access their property, which is behind him. And he has equipment and stuff like that parked on the alley. I don't know if there's an alley there. You know, some maps show it and some doesn't.
If it's not shown on our township road mileage, which I don't believe it is,
Right.
then it's not the township's property, and I
But
would
then
believe it
also
would be a
some-
civil matter between the two neighbors.
But then also some maps do show it marked out in red, which would be a township road.
What maps are you referring to?
Counties.
Yeah, I witnessed one that Barb had, but then some of them don't.
Well, there's an official one. We have to go by what the engineers have in their record.
I agree, and that's why I think we should ask for assistance for them too. If there's something there that needs
Cost us
marked.
anything to have them surveyed.
No.
If we can have them survey it without acquiring it, then we can see what they come up with. But I think it's important that we get all the information before we actually take an action to acquire it.
I don't think we're trying to acquire or not
That'd
acquire.
have to go through the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of acquiring it or not acquiring it. It's,
Well, it would have
to
to
mark
go
it
on
if
our
it's
land.
there. If it's not there, then it's not there.
It would have to go on our road mileage. And right now, it's not on our road mileage, so it's
Sure.
technically not the township's.
You don't know that.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with them coming out and surveying it as a fact-finding thing to try to figure out what's happened there. That'd be fine.
And I think that's what it is. He came to us to ask us, for one, if it is on a road mileage, if it's been maintained, if not, why hasn't it? If it is our alley, why haven't we been getting tax dollars for it?
Because it's not on our road mileage, that's the reason.
Okay, but then the neighbors are saying that it is, that they have information stating that it is. Do you know anything about this?
What information?
I'm not putting you on the
is that?
spot. Do you know anything about it?
He's not putting you on the spot.
No.
but do you know anything about it?
One thing I can tell you is that I've checked all that down in there, and I don't remember ever seeing an alley there.
Right.
But I can't believe that house closed, and they had a dispute about this alley,
Right.
and the bank still closed on it.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what confuses me.
The map that I looked at that Barb had showed 2 alleys in Linville, Barrett Lane, and then this one, I think it just had a number on it. I don't think there was a name on it.
Well, Barrett Lane was there, you know,
Yeah.
but they built that house,
All right.
and the bank's not gonna allow, I mean, the people before who.
Sure.
owned all
But they had
that.
access off Honda Hills too.
Yeah, they come off of Honda Hills to it.
Right.
So that's
Yeah,
not
they
their
come
only
off Honda
access.
Hills.
Right.
That's where they all came off.
Yeah. They got more road frontage on Honda Hills.
Yes, they do.
Right.
You said there's no charge on this?
No, he told me there wouldn't be.
Well, I'll go ahead and move that we request the engineer assist us to do a survey, no charge, and give us information regarding this
Here's
potential alley.
some paperwork that'll need filled out, just basic stuff, and then there's a box here. There's all kinds of boxes checked for roadway, traffic studies, planning, and then one of them is survey township-owned properties. So that's what we'll check for that.
We
Then we'll
gotta
have,
sit down there and count how many vehicles go in and out of it.
yeah, you can do that. Yeah. So we'll fill this out tonight before we leave. That's all right.
Yeah.
Do you want us to go ahead and sign it before we fill it out?
I moved the motion, Dan. I'd request that you do it properly.
Don't do it properly.
Say your motion again, Jeff.
I move that we request the county engineer's office to assist us with surveying this potential alley in Linville.
I'll second it.
Roll call. Dan,
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yes?
We'll fill this out before, okay, before we leave. Got that. This was from several months back. We talked about getting rid of the old refrigerator in the township community hall over there. There's some problems with the freezer on it. Instead of just junking it, there were some ideas shot around by a couple of the residents that were brought to me that we should call AEP. So I called AEP. They're going to come out and pick it up. I believe it's on May 8th, and they're going to give us a $50 credit on our electric bill. So that one will be gone. So we'll be down to one refrigerator now. So. Another thing I had is we trimmed a bunch of trees in the township. I don't know if anybody saw us out doing it, but we're going to try to do it as a yearly thing to keep up on it. If we can get a couple roads done a year, we really trimmed back. We did the village this time, a bunch of stuff in the village, up South Street, and then we also were able to do all of Rankin Road. So
Is this excavation unlimited?
that's for the rental of the lift. That's all I had under unfinished business.
You have any, Jeff?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, new business. Discuss the trash. Is Big O here? Okay.
You want to talk? You want me to talk?
Go ahead, Ben. You-
We had a meeting this past Saturday over in the community building. It was a public meeting. Anybody was welcome to come over and discuss with us about the trash contract, whether they liked it, didn't like it, any problems they were having. Positive, negative, we welcomed it all, put it out there on the table. We think we had maybe 15, 18 people show up. Had some good discussion on it. We have the right to either not do the trash contract anymore. We have the right to rebid the trash contract if we want to rebid it. And then we also have the right to extend the contract with Big O if Big O is willing to do that. We held that meeting, we discussed all those options, kind of just get public input from people. I know we've had public input throughout the past 3 years on it. I know there's a couple people here from 2 different trash companies tonight. I know we have one from Big O, John, and then we have Andrew from Kimball Refuge. So, after do you guys have anything to say? I mean, first.
Well, I'd be happy to say something. My name's John Peckskamp. I'm the Vice President with Big O Refuse. We're in Newark, as you know. We've enjoyed serving your township over the past 3 years and hope that we've done a good job. I know I've had a good relationship with the people here, and anytime there's been issues, we've tried to address them as best we could, whether weather-related or anything else. As mentioned, we service probably the majority of Licking County. We have about 37 contracts, Buckeye Lake, Millersport, Madison Township. We have about 30 of them in the area. The contract enables us to extend the terms, enable us to extend the contract, and I've indicated to Ben that we would be willing to do so at no increase, no change in the pricing that there is. And the other thing that we would want to offer is that right now the recycling is an option, and people can pay an additional approximately $4 if they'd like to recycle. We give a bin and pick it up. We would extend and then offer recycling for no charge to the township. So right now we have about 25 people recycling in your township. We believe very strongly about recycling, and we think that it's something that's worthwhile and every community should do. In a lot of the communities that we service, the average is somewhere around 25 to 35% of the people recycle. Some are higher, some are lower, but we think we would enhance that here if there was no change, if there was no difference in the pricing and that way. And as you know, we send a separate recycling truck 1 time a week to those people, the 25 that do recycle. And so beginning when the contract renews August 1st, we would offer that to everybody in the township for no charge.
So you're offering free recycling to everybody?
Exactly.
Okay.
Again, our drivers enjoy servicing your community. Some of them live in the community and around here, and we like to think that we are a part of the community. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you guys offer any bulk recycling, like a big bin, like if we wanted to put it in the village here?
Sure.
Do you guys have those?
Yeah, we do, and it's a commingled bin.
Okay.
So people can come in and put commingled
Okay.
materials, like you can at your house,
Sure.
at your curb,
Sure.
and we can offer that as well.
Would that be something that would be free of charge, or would that have to be charged to the township?
No, I think that could be done free of charge.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am?
Do you recycle glass?
We do.
I think that's a good question.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. You've done a great job on Cherry Hill Road, I know that.
Well, thank you.
So your driver's been really great, and everything else.
Definitely.
Do you have minutes or audio of that hearing?
Not with me, no.
Excuse
Do you
me,
have
could
it
you
done?
tell us what all you
Could I have a
accept
copy
for
of that as soon as
recycling?
possible?
We recycle all plastics, 1 through 7, pop cans, aluminum, steel cans, food cans, they come from the grocery store, newspaper, cardboard, office paper, mixed paper, junk mail, glass, just about everything that's recyclable, we take in the bin, it's commingled, and then our truck picks it up and we take it to a material recovery facility, either one in Columbus or one in Marietta.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Before we had the meeting on Saturday, I called John, and our contract states that if the contract, or if the township would choose to do so, and that Big O was interested, that we could extend the contract for 3 years. So I contacted Big O. He said that they were willing to. He sent me an email. I'll give that to you guys. I mean, that's not saying that's what we're going to do, it's just an option. There's the email that was followed up. And he kind of just explained to everybody what that was about. So, I want to talk to him. You want to say anything?
Yeah. First, I want to thank Ben. Him and I have been in contact a couple times. My name is Andrew Kimball with Kimball Recycling Disposal. We're a family-owned and operated recycling disposal hauler. We own and operate our own landfill in Dover, Ohio. We have several different transfer stations: Carrollton, Canton, Cambridge. We'd be servicing from our Cambridge facility. We again would also offer the recycling, same items they would, separate truck. We offer the commingled recycling roll-off container that we can drop here in town. We serve 28 counties in Ohio now, well over 200,000 residential customers. Close to, last time I looked, over 60 municipality and township contracts throughout Ohio. We have close to over 10,000 commercial customers throughout Ohio. We service from Lake Erie clear down to Mineral, West Virginia. We were just awarded Thornville, so we're starting to move into Licking County. Just want to see what we can provide you, make sure rates are fair, and provide you good service. Thank you. Any questions?
Did you invite any of the other haulers tonight?
I didn't invite anybody, actually. Mr. Kimball had actually contacted me to ask about when the contract was up. So. And I actually asked him how he knew about it, and he said that he'd heard about 3 years ago, and they didn't have the opportunity to bid, but he had marked it down so that he wouldn't forget this time. So no, I did not personally invite anybody, Jeff.
Well, everybody I've talked to, everybody seems real happy with Big O, and I have no problem just renewing it. And everybody pretty happy with them, aren't they?
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be, the other company was going to have a chance to put a bid.
Yeah, but we can keep it the same price without bidding it.
The way the contract reads, our contract with Big O states that if the township and the hauler hauling at this time are in agreement to extend the contract, that we have that option to do that. Extend it for another 3 years without rebidding the.
Is that kind of a little bit like communism? That we don't give anybody else a chance?
I don't agree with that.
It shouldn't, I know, do people have a chance to put a bid in? If you call me to tow a car and somebody else calls somebody else to tow a car and they want $200 and I want $150, should you go with me for two, or should you, hey, wait a minute, we better talk about this, this other person has a lower bid on his towing.
State Highway Patrol doesn't make multiple phone calls to get a better price. They just call you and tell you to come haul it.
Yeah, well,
It's no different. Go ahead.
Big E's done one hell of a job for 3 years, and I don't think they deserve to get kicked out of it or even try to get outbid. And I'm not saying anything against anybody else, but they've done a super job for 3 years, way better than Waste Management ever did.
Yes.
And to boot them out now would be a tragedy.
Your grandfather did.
I didn't say boot him out. I said,
A
what's
couple
your
of-
lower bid?
It would just depend on the numbers we
Yeah.
have to run.
They'd have to, you know, if we competitively bid it, they would have to put bids in. So. Did you have a comment?
Me and Donnie works on the road, and anytime Big O had trouble, they didn't tear the roads up, they called us. We had to go twice to help get through. The roads wasn't tore up, nobody was bitching, wasn't in nobody's yard. So far, I've seen no problem with what they've done. If I did, I'd bitch about it. CMI, all they done was tear stuff up, and you know what, mine.
And, we had Waste Management, and I had nothing to compare it to until Big O came in. I know Waste Management had missed us in a period of several years. I would say on average of 4 to 6 times a year. And sometimes they wouldn't come around until the next week to pick it up. Big O, I think, in his 3 years has missed us twice. And I think both times it was a substitute driver after I found out. I called and it was picked up same day both times. They come in the daytime, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Mr. Kimball, I appreciate you coming in here.
Most definitely.
But I will say, we're most happy with Big O this time.
Right. Was there a motion on the floor? No.
I don't think so. He just said that he shared his opinion, he didn't make a motion.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion, we keep Big O. Extend the contract.
That would be for another 3 years.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Under discussion on that before roll call, there are definitely mistakes in the original contract. Before I was elected, I brought all those to the board's attention. I feel that we should have the legal people draw up a contract before we would proceed, even at this point, to address those issues and also to address some other things that are kind of up in the air. I'd like to see it in the contract, some specific guidelines. This dumpster up here that does have residential trash, it's being hauled out of it. It's being said that it's exempt because it's being called commercial, but the contract that we currently have talks about residential trash. It doesn't talk about dumpsters and that type of thing, so it's kind of ambiguous. I'd like to see the renewed contract specifically deal with these issues, and then there's no gray area on it.
The contract was not drawn up by the township or any member sitting on this board. It was drawn up by the prosecutor's office.
That would be who would do it again.
Just so everybody knows.
That's all I have to say on it.
A second. Before we take a vote, I want to thank both you guys for coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We really appreciate it, most definitely. This is kind of I guess it's kind of a big topic in the township. It's still pretty new, so definitely thank you guys for taking your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Ready for roll call? Van Buren?
Yeah.
Hub?
Yes.
Corpenny?
No.
Okay. Got any more new business? Oh, we need to get signs.
Thank you, Mr. Kimball. Take care.
For children playing on Somerset.
These replacement signs, or?
Well, for people to slow down,
You want children playing?
The children playing or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
I don't have a
There
calendar.
ain't no signs up there.
Where?
On, just south of,
The interstate.
Interstate up toward Greens and that housing development.
That stretch through there where there's a bunch of houses, on either side of the road.
I don't have a calendar.
Is there,
Kids shouldn't play in the road, but.
is there a bus stop, still a bus sign there or anything now?
I don't think there is. I don't think there's
We want one in each direction?
any. Should have one in each direction, one in each.
As far as I know, we don't have any extras that goes around or anything.
I'll make a motion that we purchase 2 children playing signs. Is that what you want?
Okay, yeah. No, I'll second.
This is just south of the interstate, so.
Yes.
So where are they gonna be placing the signs themselves?
One south of the interstate.
One south of the interstate, one up by Greens up in there to cover all them houses in there.
So you're gonna go pretty far the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a motion by Ben to purchase 2 signs, children playing signs for Somerset Road, second by Dan. Roll call, Van Buren.
Yeah.
Wait a second, on discussion, did a resident call and
Yeah.
have it, they have an issue with that, they're seeing a lot of
Yeah.
speeding?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the only thing I wanted to
A new
ask.
paved road. It's a halfway straight stretch
Yep.
once you run,
Yeah, but-
past the interstate. So
Had residents contact me about it.
But specifically Somerset stretch,
Yep.
nowhere else.
Yep, that's it.
All right.
Roll call, Van Buren.
Yeah.
Hupp.
yes.
Corpenny.
Yes. Are you gonna order those through that same supplier?
Yeah. Do you?
If you recall, we
What
moved a
size?
motion,
We'll be in contact soon.
Oh.
Take care. Thank you.
2012, that we had to purchase a certain grade sign, so can you make sure that it's that?
Sure.
Because it was the high reflective grade that we said we'd put up.
Okay.
I had one other thing under new business. A couple things actually. Truck got paid off, correct?
Yes, there's a check tonight.
Okay, cool.
It was less than I thought it was, too. It was
Save money.
15,000.
If we wanted to do a semi-big project,
Meaning,
example, replacing the cinder building back there,
oh,
do you think we would have the funds to do that?
approximately how much would that be?
I didn't get estimates from somebody. I asked somebody, what they thought it would cost, and he said about $13,000. And that would be to replace it with like a pole building style barn, to reinforce the insides, new metal, rough sides, all that kind of stuff.
We should be able to. It might possibly cut into the road fund a little bit, but I'll add up the numbers and let you know.
We'll put that on the agenda maybe to see if we can look at it.
We're gonna have to start on chip and seal.
Chip seal soon too, yeah.
Figure out what we're gonna chip and
What
seal.
roads, yeah. You want to put that on the agenda or do you want
Yeah, let's put that on the agenda for April.
to discuss it in May?
Yeah. Next month.
Discuss it in May, bid it in June, July?
Discuss it in May.
We'll discuss it in May and we might have a special meeting.
We can bid it at June meeting, or did you want to do it before that?
Might bid it before then, like middle of June
I don't have the 5-year plan,
Yeah, I'd like
here,
to get
so
all that.
what are you thinking? I know
I think,
Rankin, Bowser, Open Woods.
Open Woods,
Yeah.
Cook Rider,
Okay. The whole thing?
yeah.
Okay. Even going up the hill? I think the hill's.
Yeah.
Alright.
Do all Cook Rider,
Okay. Even the grabbing part in the back?
yeah, well, down to the turnaround.
Right, don't do the cul-de-sac, but just all the way down the hill to the back.
Yeah, and then, I don't know if we can do lawyers, because it,
Open Woods, keep running. We can put that on the agenda, and then we'll discuss it next month, figure out what roads we want to do, bid it, and
Can you get bids from Center Bank?
what's that?
Can you get bids?
Yeah, we can do that, if we want to do that. That's what we want to do.
Well, we can still bid it, so we can know
Right,
how much
okay,
it is,
sure,
so we
sure.
know how much, so we know if we have money for better.
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
So we'll discuss it next month, and we'll bid it either June or July. And then they would be able to come in like September, October, hopefully maybe.
If we're chipping steel, the sooner the better
Oh,
than
yeah,
that.
definitely.
Because you get too late. If we get too late, we're better hold it off till the following year.
Okay. All right. Let's put that on the agenda. What do you think about that, Jeff, about possibly putting up a new cinder building out here?
I think we should put it on the agenda.
All right, well, I mean, I can go ahead and look into it, maybe talk to some people and get some bids on it. Kind of like the style that the state has out
I'll
there.
just say get any facts you can, and then we can have more to look at, including the budget.
Well, I'll do that then. Cool.
Okay.
Let's see if that's all I got.
I think that's it, isn't it, Ben?
Okay, that's all I have.
You don't have anything, do you?
Nope.
Okay, public comment?
Wait a second, Dan, are we gonna go over the application reservation or not?
Oh, for the building?
Yeah, I noticed, I just made some notes on there when I went through it. First off, I think it would be helpful if we would, after it's updated, I think we should run it by legal to make sure everything's right on it. Johnny, is this the most current? It says it was revised January 1st, 2010.
As far as I know.
Okay. Because that's the copy I had, but.
It ain't been nothing done with it since then.
What do you see that's wrong with it?
Well, what I was going to say initially, what I think we need to do, once it's all updated and the way we want and approved, I think we should get this form made in a triplicate.
Okay. Like
That way, the volunteer at the time will have their own copy for accountability to show that what they did. The township will have their public record, and the person renting it will have their record that they paid with their information on it. Because, that way everybody is covered on it. The way I understand that it has been done. Years ago, before the park committee, we didn't even have a form, and there wasn't any accountability. And then we got accountability by having a form.
I think we did.
But I think it needs another step.
Richard Wright.
You had rules. I know you had rules because
Yeah.
we updated them. But the park committee had gone over it, and it's been updated a few times since then too.
So is there anything that you think needs changed or updated besides having like a carbon copy, like a 3-page?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff on there. That's why I think we should.
Well, let's discuss it.
Especially before we would print them up or anything. Small examples to be completed by the park committee commission member. Well, that doesn't exist, so that doesn't need to be there. Just stuff like that. If we are going to get them printed, we need it updated.
So let's discuss it so we can. Is there more than just that?
Sure. I think when we do it, maybe if you don't want to do it tonight, next meeting, I think apparently you haven't taken the time or had the time to look it over. That's why I went ahead and printed them out for you. Because, there are things on here that never were completed, like number 6. Still has a space there that we can leave it like it is. It's about building occupancy. But they can't get capacity on it until they come and actually give approval that everything that they had issues with is brought up to speed, which it hasn't been. Some of it has been, but not all of it. That's number 6. And then under deposits, some of this stuff here, I just had some questions on it. As far as I know, nobody's ever not gotten their deposit back, and I don't think we've ever had any damages or anything.
I'll argue that. I could tell you 3 people off the top of my head that have expressed to me that they have not got their deposit back.
Really?
Yes.
Well, see, that's another thing, the form, if it's done properly. If it's not on here, it is there, date deposit returned. And the fiscal officer, I think, is supposed to sign off on every one of them.
But I don't
So-
know if the deposit was given back.
Said
How would I know that?
That they weren't even offered their deposit, and the
Well-
follow-up question was, did you clean it? Yes, absolutely. They said that they were told that they had to clean it, when they were done with their party, and they did, and they were never offered their deposit back.
Well, a triplicate form would help on that too, because every step of the way, whoever's going to be
You
responsible
can have a
for
bunch
checking.
of forms, but if the deposit ain't give back.
Yeah, but it's
don't
right
make a
here,
difference.
Dan. Deposit amount, check number, date deposit received. It's all right there. You'd have accountability for everybody. If that would come up, which, never came to the board that somebody had an issue like that. But, and in 2010, when it was updated, did you run it by legal counsel to make sure everything was right? Do you recall?
I thought you did.
I wasn't here in January 2010.
I don't know then.
Do either of you have a problem doing that once we get the details worked out? Having it checked out with legal counsel? I mean, it doesn't cost us anything.
I want to see it first before you take it to them.
Well, I don't have, I know years ago I had updated it, but it's been updated multiple times since then. So Jenny, I don't know, do you have a document file you can edit?
I might.
Imagine, because in 2010 you're probably the one that did this.
The only thing I changed was the website.
I think there was also an issue at some point where people were, we had somebody supposedly spent overnight in there, and I think that was one of the more recent changes.
I've never heard that.
But yeah, it's addressed in here somewhere.
I see it on number 14.
Is that where it is?
No, I'm sorry, 13.
But
I've never heard
I don't know that there's a big hurry on it. How's it working now? The way I understood it, at least the last several months of last year, the stuff would come in here and you agreed what was there. But prior to that, it was just between Jenny and Barb, right? You just picked it up over there and then you made her a copy and gave her a copy. Okay. But I think it'd be a lot easier since we don't have a copy machine here or anything. If we have that triplicate form, whoever's taking the reservation, which would be Don currently.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with doing some kind of receipt form, like a whatever,
I think it'd be better than a separate receipt book. Because when I did do the one for the auctioneer, I had a generic form and I did use it and I gave him a receipt back for the deposit too, but this can all be done in the same form.
If there's going to be any correction, I want to see it before it goes to the prosecutor's office for them to review or before we have anything printed up. So if you want to make changes to it, but I want to see it before.
Well,
it goes anywhere.
Jenny would be the obvious one to do that since she has the file on it. So.
I can send it to you.
Okay. So can we leave that on the agenda for next month?
Yep.
And then, there's no sense discussing any more details on it until we're ready to move forward.
That church crew come in here and stayed all night and have the thing. They got on the road to fix that window and stuff.
I don't recall that. I don't
We
remember.
didn't have no trouble, so Jeff got his crew in there with the parts and then they can start losing money.
What did they stay overnight for? Just what was the purpose?
I don't know, they just stayed and come in and decorate that all up and do all their stuff.
Well, the board addressed that. That's why we added it on there. Just so we wouldn't have that issue again. People thinking they could rent it overnight and
Never
sleep
no
in it.
money missing, Jeff, till you got Barb in there. And now we can't prove how much it's gone. But you never give me
What
enough.
was the total expenditure? Awesome.
What's the total?
I've never had the financials or receipts or any of that stuff for the park.
That's what you say, you're supposed to pick them up.
That's not accurate, Mr. Hedges.
Okay. Huh?
It's because of the truck.
I know. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else on our new business?
Before we go forward, I just have a question here on this. The majority of the board passed that we're renewing this contract. Are you going to contact Amy and have her drop a new one, or what are you going to do there? Because August 1st is when it starts, so you probably should have it by the next meeting or something.
They draw the last one up.
We have 90 days. I mean, it's going to be the same contract. It's just going to be between us and Big O, so we'll have to make some signatures and pretty much be it.
Add recycling into that.
So
yeah, I'll make sure that he does that. Yep.
Are you going to handle that then and have Amy have something for us at the next meeting?
Yep. Is that it? Public comment?
Public comment?
Sorry. The Friends of Bowling Green Township hosted this year's Easter egg hunt, and we would like to thank everyone who came out and helped stuff eggs. It was really a big success. We had about 50 children there. A lot of the residents were very happy with the way that we divided the age groups up, so the little children found as many eggs as the older kids did. We want to thank Dan Van Buren and Ben Huck, who voted to allow funds out of the township for us to host the Easter egg hunt, even though Jeff voted no, not to let us have any of the money to put on the Easter egg hunt. We also want a special thanks to Liz Salee for playing the Easter Bunny. A lot of the kids got their picture taken with the Easter Bunny, and the Easter Bunny gave all of the kids a special treat. We did recycle the eggs so that we don't have that expense next year. Thank you, Ben, for the help that you did the day of the event. Everyone who came out, the seniors had a really great bake sale. They said they made more money than they've ever made at one of their bake sales. Barb Selig did face painting for the children, and there is a video on YouTube. So thank everyone who worked on that, because it really turned out very nice.
The seniors donated the money for it was $186
Yes.
from the bake sale.
Well, we really appreciate all you guys' help and effort. I know it's a lot of work, and nothing but positive comments. I mean, people were happy, and we like that. So.
Okay, go ahead.
We're getting tires dumped out on Mount Hope Road, and there's a couple of them that's been out there since last year, and when the county mowed, they mowed right over them. Wanted to let you know.
On Mount, if you go down Mount Hope, right on the right before you get to any houses.
Yep.
Yep.
Down at the bottom of the hill.
Yep. How many's there now?
And then,
How many do you think's there?
I think there's 5 there, and up on the top, there's 2 where they mowed over them.
Okay, we'll get
last year.
them. We'll get them. Where do you want us to put them at?
Hey, I was talking to the Licking Township there in Jacktown.
Yeah.
And they said something about the state was gonna have a tire roundup or something. I don't know if you guys knew anything about that or not.
We had the opportunity to take part in that, and we kind of got shut out of it
Okay.
because of Jeff. So
When's that happening?
yeah.
That's not accurate.
That is accurate. It was supposed to take part this summer. That there was going to be several places in the county, through the county, and we would have had to sign up before our official meeting, before we could have took an official vote on it. I was for it. Dan was for it. Jeff must not have been. So he chose to tell them that we didn't want to.
That's not accurate.
Yeah. On these signs, that are by the Honda, about they're too big, junky. We went up and took that one down for Honda Hills. Now you can look out west when you're coming out on West 40.
Thank you. Anytime that stupid
It was an accident.
You did a good
Jumped
job.
up their place to have it.
That's right.
Now you got the one up there, urban use, they're letting it fall down. They put them up and use them, when they're done, they should have to take them down.
That's right, yeah.
What did you do with that sign you removed?
Well, Jeffrey, if you would come out and talk to somebody and look around, you know it. It's in his yard where the man asked us to bring it back to you.
It was given back to the property, or to the owner of the sign. We put it up.
Appreciate an answer.
You got one.
Okay.
Did anybody ever find out what happened to the money that our church gave the township? We're renting the tables.
I didn't know that.
Barbara Weisman was in charge of that.
Yeah. It never got to the township, or it never got, nobody knows?
I don't know.
That was for rental of the tables from the yard sale? Is that what it was? No,
Everybody.
It was
had
at
to
the
pay so much for a table. The bazaar.
Okay.
Bazaar.
Was that the church that did the bazaar, the seniors? I don't recall.
Christmas time.
Okay.
Either way, I think it was a free rental, wasn't it? I don't think it was paid for. I don't think there was a
But
fee from the township.
they're not saying that the rental was free or charged. They're saying you guys.
They were charged to rent a table,
Ours paid
so they
$40
were asking where that money went.
I understand that. I'm
Who
just
put it
saying
on?
that-
Do you know who put it on? Was it?
I don't have.
It wasn't the township. I know that.
They
Right,
paid
that's what I'm saying.
somebody per table.
Barbara Weisman was in charge of it. It was
in the paper, it was advertised in the paper several times, that if you were interested in a table, to call Barbara Wiseman, and it gave her a home phone number. Wow.
Was that through the church or was it through the seniors? Do you know which group it was?
There were some seniors there making food.
Yeah, it may have been a combined thing. I was just wondering who actually, whose fundraiser
Was
was
it check or
The
cash
churches or was it the?
A check or cash?
I don't, you know, yeah. The person that was actually sitting there all the time at the tables was Cora Hill. She was probably the one that paid it. To ask her whether it was probably cash. She said it was $10 a table.
And the money was supposed to go to.
I don't know. It was just a.
We didn't put it
Wasn't
on,
for the
so
township.
yeah, we didn't put it
We don't
on.
know where it went.
So yeah,
Maybe
I can answer
they
that.
have a group that they've asked me about if I wanted to join
Brownsville Senior
that
Citizens.
has to do
probably.
with senior citizens, and they do something each month. Maybe that it went to that, I don't know.
You'd have to talk to them.
I don't know.
Or-
Maybe it went to that, because they made the food,
Yeah. Yeah. That's not part of the township, so you'd have to talk to them.
so it could have went to that,
Right.
if they were putting it on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got one more question. I'm concerned about what is the rule of the township for swimming pools? Fences on swimming pools. Is there a rule?
I can answer that. I don't know.
That's under zoning.
You'd have to look in the
In our
zoning.
zoning, there's a,
Did Bob tell you?
in our zoning, there's stipulations of fences and heights and things like that, if I recall. But-
Every swimming pool in the township?
Well, there's certain,
There's state regulations and
Yeah,
insurance
that's what I
regulations.
was just going to say.
But it is addressed somewhat. It may not be complete in there, but it is in our zoning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Somebody will find out, right?
if you'd like me to ask, I can see what the rules and regs are on swimming pools. Sure.
It's 48 inches off the ground. I know because I just had a meeting put in, mine's 52.
Have it for the next meeting. Have it for the next meeting.
Yes.
It has, did you say it has to do with the height of the pool?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You know, that doesn't make sense, because you can drown them in a cup of water. You know, how deep, whether it's 3 feet, 4 feet, 2 feet, whatever, a kid can drown.
I'll make sure that.
Could I have the zoning inspector's time for the January, February, March, and April?
Yes, you can. I will get that to you.
Thank you very much.
any more?
I have one question. The guardrail on Honda Hills Road by the creek is starting to give in again. And a while ago, we were gonna put some arrow signs on that corner so people would know not to hit that guardrail. But those things never happen, and they're still hitting it. So it's falling down in, it's like this now.
Right past Mike Pitcher's house.
Right past between, Mike, what's your name, and my Jim's house.
Okay.
In there.
Okay.
And it's at a, whatever angle that is now.
We'll look at it and see if we can't straighten
Okay.
it.
I'm worried that someone's gonna hit that, and it's gonna
Sure.
fall right in and kill them.
Sure. Definitely. Okay, we'll see what we can do out there. Most definitely.
Okay.
And I'll look. We might have some arrow signs back here. I'll look and see. For the directional arrows.
Yeah.
I don't know if we do. We'll look and see.
Ordered them signs for that, and it was never ordered.
Okay. Well, we're
There's
gonna order
some
some other signs, so.
There's Chevron signs back there. I don't know if they're the proper size for that area, but we do have some back there.
It is really dangerous right there, especially if someone's flying down Honda Hills Road.
Definitely. Okay. Yep. We'll get out there and take a look at it.
Anybody else?
Well,
Two questions. The whole deal is the state, it's gotta be at least, if it's above ground, that's your fence right there, but the line's gotta go up. If it's in ground, you gotta have at least 4-foot fence, with the gates locked. That's right in the building and everything else.
okay.
That's what I said, I just had a meeting.
No, I think it's got to start.
If it's above ground.
I don't know. This is just what Mr. Ball's saying. If it's above ground, and we'll get to rules for you. He said that was your fence right there, as long as the ladder was tipped up. If it's above ground. If it's in ground, you have to have a 4-foot fence with a lock gate.
Yes.
Okay, so,
But see, I don't know. Like this ones you go to Walmart buy that have the blow up ring. I don't know. I don't know if those would qualify. I don't know.
or plastic junk?
Yeah.
There's been kids take the ladders and move them over there,
Sure.
so.
I'll see what I can find for you in our rules. Okay.
If you put a deck on it, you have to have the deck fenced.
Wrong one.
Okay, Mr. Corpay, I don't know when this was, when he won Barb as the president of the park committee, he, it's on tape where how honest and all this she was. And I'm just want to thank God that Ben and Danny and Jenny, all three of you kept a close eye on her the last few months. Because she, so far I know, $4,500 from the cemetery, another almost $5,000 from the church, and she paid back the senior citizens their $300. And hard to tell what she took from the park, but if that's what kind of person he wants to run our township, that's the kind of trouble we're always going to have. He don't know who he picks. He should have ran a background check. And she had 7 other problems in the past. So if he's so good about the computer and all this paperwork he wants done, why didn't he check her out or even have her bonded? That's it.
The president of the park committee hasn't been determined by anybody on this board. They've always decided who that would be among themselves, and that's how that was determined, who the president was.
No, I don't think he was stating that.
No, don't try to change the words around.
Anybody else? I make a motion we pay bills.
Second. Let's see if we got one here for you.
First check was 4411, $62.51 from Barb Salee.
Thank you, God, whoever did that.
How much did it say?
I'm not sure. It was probably,
Number 4424.
do I have, can you give me your address?
4424.
I'll give one.
$255.11. Barb Salee. How come there's two for an address?
I need your address.
Okay, the first one's for phone and mileage reimbursement and Easter candy reimbursement. Second one is for hourly wages, $255.11.
43056? 76. Okay.
Edmund Road.
Your phone number?
323. Check 4,400.
That's $2 for Lincoln Township.
Patty requested a record.
Check 4,400. Jeffrey Fort County,
Here's a
623.21.
temporary one. I can give you a permanent one.
You gonna sign that one tonight, Dan?
I'll have to fix it though. I'll give you. I'll have to fix
Check
that.
4414, $2, Licking Township trustees. Rollins, record request. What is this? What is $2 for that?
That was for a public records request from the comprehensive plan. Requested it from Licking Township.
Did she reimburse you for it? Did she pay for it, or is it for all of it?
No, we're paying.
It's for the township, right?
It's paid out to Licking Township.
You can have one. Sure.
Number 4407, Smalls Asphalt Paving, $258 for cold mix. Unit price, $60, 4.3 quantity.
Should I tap this or something?
4410, Taylor Trucking, $1,069.95. Calling Ash. Jenny, do you have the bills for these?
That's for Cinder City Hall for.
Ace Truck Equipment, $10.16. Parts. Pleasant Valley Limestone, $107. Check 4408. Quantity 1, unit price $107. Ohio Public Entity Consortium, $298.20. OPEC fees. Did my check come back around here?
These all, you haven't signed any of them? There's those.
No, I'm moving this here. What are you looking for?
Nothing, just make sure, see what was signed and what wasn't signed.
Okay, did my check come back around?
You signed those things. Just keep passing. They signed them, these are signed.
They're signed already.
These need signed.
But I need the one that has my name on it back.
Let me sign the check.
Dan, are you gonna sign this? Because I'd like an explanation why. I've asked you month after month and you've never answered.
Just sign the checks, Jeff, come on.
Again, this is 4405, this is Elm Recycling Company, $165.50. Asphalt grinders.
Don't fill that out. Application, don't fill them in. I'll bring it out. I'll take it in.
Kenny, do you have the bills for the invoices for the Taylor Trucking and Elm Recycling? Auditor of State 4404, $204 UAN fees for the second quarter of 2014. 4421, Thomas Clayton, $52.50, it says spot labor.
We trimmed trees.
What?
We trimmed trees.
Okay, I noticed there's time sheets here sitting for these two people.
He didn't actually, I told him not to worry about it. I knew how much time he worked. He didn't actually fill out a time sheet. We're not going to use him for probably no more this year.
This is a time sheet.
I understand that.
So somebody filled it out.
That's for somebody
That's
else.
right. Oh, there's three.
Okay, I can get.
You wore your hat.
So you hired how many people?
We didn't hire anybody.
Got time sheets for Brian Salee and Sam Allen.
Right.
Got check for Thomas Clayton.
That's correct. When I called you because we needed help trimming trees and you never answered, we need help.
I never got a call from you, Ben.
I called you several times, Jeff, and you never
So
answered.
you're telling me you've hired 3 people in the last month. One of them you're not doing a time sheet on, and 2 of them you're doing time sheets. Correct.
He's done with that.
4420 is Excavation Unlimited LLC. Do you have the bill for them too?
Thanks, brother. I'll see you later.
This is for the lift rental for the cleaning.
Do you want to go see the engineer or do you want me to see him? I'll keep this with me. You go in there. I'll call him.
Paisley Rental, $450 for chipper rental. Check 4419.
Right, you don't see that?
See, that's what we've already, yeah, see, that's what we've already done. If it's $2.
You don't get all this shit, stuff screwed up.
75.
Okay, Elm Excavation Unlimited and Paisley Rental. Those checks. 405 is $165.20 for Elm.
The
442 $733 for Excavating Unlimited. And 4419 is Paisley's for $450.
Information center got $1 million.
All these got me something about him. Time sheets. He's got time sheets over there.
Workers' compensation, check 4418. Workers' comp, $1,039.
He didn't put onions and stuff, yeah, because even if we get the
And NCO advertisement, $92.52. Check 4417.
unless you really do, yeah, so unless you do that.
No, I forgot to call them. I will, I'll call them.
Inglefield Oil Company, 4416.
There's always been two.
$1,161.43 for bulk fuel.
Just crunch it up.
I don't know why. So,
Park National Bank, 4415. Truck payoff, $15,286.60.
Yeah, see, I do the, I do everything hard.
4403, Daniel Nelson Van Buren, 62132. Jack Richard Hedges, 4423, $384.
Denny has it received.
86
If it's free, I think a lot of people use it.
Well, yeah.
That's how I looked at it when they did it. I thought, man, people aren't gonna spend that extra money. They're trying to get the extra tear out. If it's free, why not?
We take ours all the way to church every Sunday.
39 hours.
Yep. That's good.
We'll find out more whether.
Those are my copies.
And like you and I talked about, one of the big containers.
Yeah.
And then they can do it down by you.
Yeah, because if this put one, that'd be great. Yeah, that's a good idea. So where do they put it here?
Samuel Allen, $87.97.
Yeah, we'll figure
Here to have a total sheet for the UNPA here. Same thing with Brian Salita, $106.46. Currently in UNPA, 4425.
Yeah, people don't worry about nothing.
Don Watkins,
Good, you leaving?
Yeah, I gotta take everybody home.
Me gets a little sign.
42 and a half hours.
All right, well, I'll talk to you soon. Probably this week sometime.
Yeah, because you have to find it.
Take her easy, man.
It's check 4426, $412.49. It's Don Watkins. And then there's a check for Patty Boland for $68.26. Easter Candy, check 4413. Assume you have receipts for this.
Jackson, everybody's.
What's this one? Okay, we got two checks left here. One is for Dan Van Buren and one is mine. Dan's is 4403, $621.32.
Well, that's what we're pricing it.
Okay, Dan, now,
Yeah.
Once again, I'm asking you why you're not signing this check. I sign yours and Ben's and Jenny's as per how it's laid out in the Ohio Revised Code, and I do it every month. Why are you again not signing this?
I'd like to also read into the record, that Mr. Gorpenny has neglected to sign,
Guys work for us.
I'm gonna call them payroll checks, people that put in hours for us. He's neglected to sign those too, so, go ahead and write down the record. We have, Mr. Brian Sleeg, Mr. Sam Allen, and Mr. Thomas Clayton. The checks were not signed by Mr. Jeff Gorpenny.
That's right. Apparently, unbeknownst to the board, people were hired without discussion or anything else.
They done? Okay, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
So no answer, Dan? Why you're not signing the check again?
Yep.
You got yours?
I'm telling you,
You didn't get yours?
you don't
I need the signature. Everybody sign that paper for the survey?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I always knew that.
I want to go see the baby lion.
I still not, oh yeah, I know.
Where's it at?
You know what property it is.
No, I mean, where's the baby?
Or no, they just put a new driveway in, so I assume they're going to. You know where
They
it
must be going to build something.
Yeah, they split it, 40 acres, they split it into 2 lots.
Oh, okay.
Is it on the same side as Waste Management?
Yeah.
If you know the barn up there, the old one, you know the new dairy barn that they built?
Yes.
Okay, go past that up through the S curve, go around, top of the hill, you're gonna start down.
Because they're starting down with the driveway, the driveway.
Yeah.
I want to see the bigger line.
Did you want to see it? I want to go
Yeah, just send that to them, and it's actually due tomorrow, but I'm sure they won't.
Yeah.
It's upset, they won't be charging interest. I know.
Yeah, but what happens if he's gonna charge you? He said, he should. That's right.
I'm sure that.